Okay, third time's a charm. This is the third time I've tried to make this full video. I will start at book 11. The war heats up again. So the Greeks make a comeback, and during this book you have many descriptions of artwork. And when you have a verbal description of artwork, it's called an ekphrasis. Well, what happens is, the Greeks break through, and Agamemnon finally gains his glory. But that's not going to last because Zeus is out to punish the Greeks, even though he knows that their fate is that the fate is sealed, that Troy will fall. What he does is he helps Hector by telling Hector, wait until Agamemnon gets injured. As long as Agamemnon isn't injured, don't attack. And so basically what happens is everybody starts to get injured. Agamemnon, Diomedes, Odysseus, Machaon, Eurypylus, and only big Ajax is left. And then you have, Nestor, who's the mentor to the soldiers. He's older, he can't fight, but he's pretty upset. And he sends a message through Patroclus to Achilles saying, basically Achilles, he's just selfish. He fights for himself alone. And then Nestor tells Patroclus, you should take Achilles' armor and fight. And this is foreshadowing of what's coming, that Patroclus will be asked to fight. Book 12, Trench Warfare. Well, this is conjuring images of World War I. Now the Trojans are unstoppable, and Hector is just pushing toward the wall that the Greeks have built, and arrows are fighting from both sides. And then there's an omen of an eagle and a serpent, and the serpent bites the eagle. And there's an interpretation of the oracle, but Hector disregards it. And this is, again, it's a tragic flaw throughout mythology when heroes ignore these signs. And some of the most famous literature has been created around this tragedy, this tragic flaw. Well, you have, the two Ajaxes for the Greeks are on top of their wall, and they're cheering the soldiers on. But then finally Sarpedon, who is Zeus's own son, he cracks the wall open, and Hector is the first one through. And basically, things are really looking bad for the Greeks now, and they're backed into the corner. Now we'll move on to book 13, Battle of Brothers. Book 13 is another turn of the tide, and literally because Poseidon is the one who helps, and he controls the tides, right? So he stops Hector, and what is interesting is, Poseidon was against the Greeks before, but now he's on their side. During this book, you have the glory of Idomeneus and Meriones. It's kind of like the lesser heroes kind of rise up because everybody else is injured at this time. And Antilochus, Nestor's son, emerges as a hero. So the next generation is finally rising up. So when Nestor would scold the younger soldiers, he was really talking to his own son. Paris then, on the Trojan side, gets back into the battle. Finally, he's the one who started the whole thing by stealing Helen from Menelaus. So, that's a turning point too. But Ajax, the big Ajax, he remains the most visible hero in book 13. Book 14, Hera's diversion. Okay, this is where the curtain drops a little bit. This is the token bedroom scene, okay, of the book. Hera, as Zeus's wife, knows that she can distract Zeus, in league with the god of sleep, Morpheus, and so basically she's able to distract Zeus. And what happens is, the Greeks are able to make their comeback while Zeus is asleep. And big thing that happens is Hector goes down in his battle with Ajax. He doesn't die, but he's so close, and it seems like the Greeks are going to win it all now. Book 15, Patroclus to the rescue. Well, obviously, there's another switch, another shift, and Patroclus, the Trojans have been expelled from the palisade, but then Zeus is basically saying not yet, because he knows the end of the war will come and the Trojans will lose, but he's still going to keep pushing the Greeks back. It's so it's still the rivalry between Zeus and Poseidon, but finally Poseidon is no match for his brother, and he gets out of the war. He doesn't want to continue that brotherly rivalry. Ajax continues to be the hero. He's literally jumping from ship to ship, almost supernaturally at this point. I mean, this massive guy. Book 16, the rampage of Patroclus. So because the Greeks are again backed into the corner, what happened actually is that, the Trojans are able to get through the breach in the wall, and they start to set the ships on fire. And Patroclus knows that he has to go now to Achilles. He pleads with Achilles. He shames him, says, you can't let this happen. But Achilles just agrees to give Patroclus his armor. And that's a fatal mistake as well. Patroclus then leads the Myrmidons, who are the ants turned into soldiers. He leads them into battle. And, the Greeks, again, they're rallying, and Patroclus is at the forefront. And he's amazing. He's this Tasmanian devil of energy, and all the way to the walls of Troy. So they push the Trojans back again, all the way to Troy. But it's Patroclus has overextended himself because he's fighting not just mortals, but gods. And finally, what happens? Several Trojans are getting their licks on him, but Apollo is the one who gets permission from Zeus to stop Patroclus and basically blows off his armor. So Patroclus is done for, but Hector is the one who finally kills Patroclus. And, I think this is the turning point. We have to acknowledge it's the turning point of the entire book. And hopefully you can guess why. This is literature. We've been set up all along by foreshadowing, and hopefully it's not a huge surprise. I hope this helped.